All right, a very good morning to you. It's good to see you right here on the show, Your World. My name is Winnie Lubembe, and today we're talking about money, our finances, and to be specific on financial health and literacy. And we just want to understand what are some of the lessons that you have learned when it comes to money, and this is from your parents, because as we all know, our upbringing plays a very big part in shaping who we are, and one of those areas is on finances. However, to many people, this is such an elusive subject that was never handled, or if it was held, it was quite vaguely. All right, so today we seek to understand, should parents teach their children about finances, and at what point should they introduce such conversations? All right, or if you grew up in our age where to question about pesa make empty. Okay, so what are some of those things that you have learned as far as finances are concerned? And the question that we're asking you today is very, very simple, and that is, what do you wish you would have learned or your parents would have taught you when it comes to money? Once again, what do you wish your parents taught you about money? As always, at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter, is how you can reach us. Or if you wish to call and share your experience or your story directly with us, then feel free to do so. Our lines are officially open. But the question is very simple. What do you wish your parents taught you? And this is as far as finances are concerned. And I can see a number of you have a lot to say. All right, very interesting feedback I have here. So just to sample one or two. So Catherine Jimmy, this is on Facebook, says they could have taught me that getting money is like having a butterfly on your palm. You get it and it flies away within a second. And then another one says savings plan. Sahi ningekuwa millionaire. I'm a trainer in financial literacy and I have learned more. All right. And then someone else says, this is Cheriot Nikki, says how to invest as early as possible. And then there's one who said Hemiston Ayora, still on Facebook, says, I wish my parents taught me or told me that having money was not illegal. And we all know how sometimes, you know, that relationship with money can be demonized. All right. So what are some of the lessons that you wish your parents taught you? One person here says, I wish my parents would wait until I reached 18 years and give me all the school fees from primary, secondary, and university fees. I ningekuwa landlord hapa Nairobi CBD. Really, the question is, what do you wish your parents taught you as far as money is concerned? That is what we want to understand. So feel free to engage with us, like I said, at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter. And we look forward to hear what you have to say. All right. And the basis of our conversation today is from this story on DN2 as far as parenting is concerned, and this is a story that was done by Dudley, all right, our very own Dudley, who did this story, and the question that they're asking is, do you talk to your children about money? All right, and he says parenting today is characterized by an overgrowing to-do list, and of course all in an effort to prepare young ones for the harsh conditions or realities of adulthood. And today we decide, talk about financial literacy, all right? And that is exactly what we want to talk about today. And my guests are already here to give us their journey and their stories as far as finances are concerned. And I'll begin on my immediate left. We have James Ngane, who is a finance manager, Next Step Foundation. Thank you so much for coming by today to help us understand this story. I'm just going to ask you a very simple question, like yes or no. Is it the parents' responsibility to teach the children about finances?
Yes.
Yes, I like that. All right, I'll get to understand more why. Charity Mumbi, who's a teacher at Lenana School, good to have you this morning. You also shared your story with Dudley, and you had a lot to say. Number one, you are a believer in abundance, eh? And you said, whatever baby girl wants,
baby girl gets.
And we'll get to understand more about your story as well. So thank you so much for coming by today and agreeing to speak with us as well. And last but not least, we have Meshach Kaburi, who's a programs executive, Montgomery East Africa Group. Good to have you this morning as well. Thank you so much. And you also shared your story, and you said that, when you were growing up, talking about money was a taboo. It was very, very hush-hush. You did not have those conversations, all right? And your parents were very strict as far as budget is concerned. In the supermarket, you don't pick whatever you want because, had to be budgeted, right? And you said your parents used to say, what? Money does not go on trees.
Yes, it was a common phrase.
Yeah. I mean, most of us also agree with that phrase. And we knew, kweli kabisa, you know, money does not grow on trees as well. So it's very good to have, you know, all of you, diverse stories. For you, Charity, it was more on impulse buying, whatever baby girl wants, baby girl gets. But for you, it was more of we need to budget every single coin that we have. So I wonder what or how that shaped you very quickly. But let me just start with James. James, first of all, just understanding financial, you know, literacy and wellness as well. Can we just understand why that is very important? Because pesa is scarce. We just use what we have to buy the necessities. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Winnie. Yeah. One of the quality of money is that the money are supposed to be scarce.
Okay.
Because
it's supposed to be scarce?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because if everybody wants to have money, that's now we're going to get to a point whereby there will be inflation. That is where the inflation comes from. That and the people, they don't have to go and work because I already have money. So one characteristic of money is that they have to be scarce.
Okay.
And when something is scarce, so we have to work for that.
All right.
Because if the money were readily available, there's no need of even working.
Yeah.
Because you just wake up, you go into that tree, and then
you pluck.
You pluck that money. So one characteristic of money is supposed to be scarce.
All right.
And that is why we are saying that we need to teach our children how to manage money.
All right.
Yeah, because I call financial literacy, it's like a skill. You see now, when you say of a skill is different from talent.
Okay.
You know, talent, you are born with it, so you don't have to do anything about it. But now when it comes to skill, you have to learn.
Something that you can learn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, and then the best people, our children, can be able to learn from how to in matter about financial literacy, it is from their parents.
From the parent. You see, the reason why I asked you whether it's the parents' responsibility to teach their children about finances, and you said a strong yes.
Yes.
But what if my parent was never taught about money or about finances by their parent, and their parents were never taught about money? So what is it that they will teach me? Because they usually say you can't give what you don't have, right?
Yeah.
So is it that we put so much responsibility to the parents to teach us all those things about life and how to maneuver, and you know, finances being one of the if they don't have that knowledge as far as finances is concerned, they're just learning by themselves as well.
Okay, I want to say that the financial literacy is not something that is so complex.
Okay.
You know, when people hear about the finances, they start thinking about those big things, balance sheet.
50, 30, 20
all those things, But financial literacy is something very simple.
Okay.
And then you can be able to, even if you never got that one from your parent, you can always teach your children.
Okay.
It's something that is so practical.
Yeah.
So when you are going to a supermarket, you need to teach your children that before we go to the supermarket, we must have a budget.
Okay.
We have to have a list of what we are buying. And then you need to teach them that we are going to strictly going to follow that list when we go to the supermarket.
Okay.
No, with that one, they will be able to learn. Yeah.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. You see, like Charity's case, for example, so she learned from her mom that she saw her mom doing a lot of impulse buying, right? And it grew into her as well. So she learned based on how the mom was, you know, the relationship that the mom had with money, with finances, and how, you know, she handled her money. And you said you did this for a while until when you move out.
Actually, I agree with the Facebook user.
Yes.
The Facebook user called Jackie. I think you've just read her comment.
Yeah.
That I came to realize that money is like a butterfly. It's once I started earning my own money, I was like, I have bills to pay, I have things to sort, and it's not, it can't continue like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, but let's go back.
Yeah.
Way back to when you were still a baby girl. I mean, but you were still a baby girl, right? But when you were younger, right? And how you saw your mom handle finances, right?
Yeah.
Do you just, because I read through your story, you know, very briefly, and again, like you said, you are an only child. Unfortunately, your mom passed away in 2019.
Yes.
Really, really sorry about that. But you know, your onset interaction with money was more from like a spoiled, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like whatever you needed, you got it. So do you want to just take us through how that was like for you? Or you know, this type of kids can get supermarket, whatever your eyes, as far as your eyes can see.
I was not as notorious,
Yeah.
but I would convince my mom to, like, say if I've not had yogurt in a long time.
Okay.
And surprisingly, I never saw my mom with a shopping list. It was,
Okay.
we need flour, we need salt, we need sugar. So
Yeah.
let's just go and make a trip to the supermarket.
All right.
So it was, once we've done everything, or when we are in the aisles, if I feel like I've not had Kinder Joy in a while, I'll just request, Mom, please buy for me, and then she will just indulge because
Yeah.
the money is there.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, so the money was there, and let's use the money because
Or maybe the
it
money
is
was not
here.
there.
Yes, because again,
but-
from your story, this is
Yeah.
what you said. You
Yeah.
said you wished you had learnt budgeting and proper, you know, financing way earlier,
Yes.
because that led into, you know, a bit of trouble here and there.
Yes.
Because it got to a point where the money was not enough. Whatever you needed, you know, was way
Because we
beyond.
bought yogurt, now
Exactly.
I have to wait for money for books.
Okay, but you had a totally different experience. I'll come back to you,
Yeah.
Charity, to understand. So then, what did you learn from that experience? That in as much as, yes, money is available, but you know, how then do we use this money so that we do not get to that point where we do not have enough to sustain us, and especially now that the economy, you go through the roof. So for you, your experience, Meshach, totally different from Charity's, yeah?
Yes.
Take us back,
totally
take us back.
different. I'd say the premise is the same in terms of the supermarket story, only that it was a bit different because I
Okay.
grew up thinking my mom was stingy, but she had money. So I'm wondering, we're going
Yeah.
to the supermarket.
Yes.
There are all these, you have, I think she used to have a cram shopping list because this is
Okay.
the necessities that you're buying,
Yes,
and we're
and
not
that's
picking
it.
anything else.
Yeah.
So the same, I'd say the same position where Charity was. Mom, I want you to buy me this snack. You're like, she's like, no. No, we haven't budgeted for this,
Yeah.
and it's not in the plans. So she had the, I'd say, the mentality in terms of budgeting and being financially wise. But I think the other challenge for us was the why behind it.
Okay.
So,
What was the why?
Yes, because now I understand, okay, money does not grow on trees. You
Yeah.
need to go to school and work hard for money.
Yeah.
We are not getting you this. Because another concept that was really foreign to me was a parent saying that they don't have money.
Yeah.
Because you're in the supermarket, how do you not have money?
Right?
Every day.
No
you're-
child ever understands that concept.
Yes.
Me neither. I mean, when we were younger, like, why? Why don't you have money? Why does Akina Nani have money
I
and
know.
us we don't have?
You are an adult.
You should have money.
Because now I've been brought up where I'd say it was a comfortable life.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're being dropped off to school, you're being packed for snacks
Yeah.
and all that. So all these things are happening. Your life hasn't really been interrupted in terms of the financial aspect, but your parent tells you there's no money.
There's no
So,
money.
Like how you're going to work every morning.
Yes.
How do you not have money?
Yeah.
So I think now the understanding of the whys and the values behind now what actually money entails.
Yeah.
Because now you'd find, let's say your parent gives you, you know, that 50 bob BTC. All that money is gone.
Yeah.
You just go to the shop, buy all your sweets.
Yeah.
If it's a field trip, all your friends, snacks on me today. So you just spend. So mine, I'd say, was in terms of the why behind the lessons.
Yeah.
Why budget, why plan for your finances,
Yeah.
and all that. So it was a hard thing now, finally. Now is when we understand by the
When they tell you money does not grow on trees, really they mean money does
Yes,
not grow on
yeah,
trees.
yeah.
Okay, I'll come back to you as well, the Sinners Charity, to understand. So then, how did that influence, first of all, your relationship with money, or your idea about money when you were younger versus now, when you are, and I mean, both of you are fairly young, in your 20s still. So yes, so when you were younger, like growing up, teenagehood years and up until now, has that changed? That is your relationship and your concept about money, now that you have your own money, and how you're spending it. But very quickly comparing these two stories, James, which I think is a common concept amongst so many homes, if I can say, in the country, because it's the parents who take full responsibility as far as financial decisions are concerned. Sometimes they don't even consult the kids, right? Not even sometimes, most of the time. You remember tunaenda supermarket, full stop. Okay? Yes. So, yeah, taking that, you know, financial responsibility for so many parents that the kids are left out, and then comparing the two stories.
Yeah, I can feel what my colleagues here are saying. But, okay, we can say maybe some of our parents, they did know whatever they were doing that is going to affect their children in long term.
Okay.
Because I think the parents should look at in this perspective that this child will not be child forever.
True.
So it will reach a time that they are on their own, and then they need to survive. And then, because this is the nature of life, and then you see, we will not be always there. So the time will come, and then we will exit this world. So now you need to ask yourself, when I am not there, will this child continue surviving?
Okay.
So that's why we are saying it is the responsibility of a parent to teach their children. At that age, they may not be able to understand what you are doing to them.
All right.
But you are preparing them for a future. I know it's a very common thing in our world today. We used to have very strong empires. But when the parents are not there, those empires, they just collapse. Why? Because the children were not prepared, or they were not taught how to manage that business or that finances.
Okay.
So it has a long-term effect. Even now, even the employers, they are suffering the same thing. Because I've worked quite some time in the finance department where in my employment. So we keep on seeing those things. So you just pay somebody today, and within 10 days, the same guy comes back to you. He wants a salary advance.
He wants an advance.
And then you wonder, this guy is alone.
Yeah.
You see, you don't even sometimes you don't understand.
Yeah, amepeleka wapi pesa.
Amepeleka wapi pesa yote. You see, okay, so sometimes when you just try to sit down with that person, you now start realizing where the problem came from. The problem came from how he was brought up. That once you have money today, you have to spend all that money that time. You see, now
kesho utajipanga.
Kesho utajipanga.
Okay.
But you see, now in that one we can say is very. I don't want to be very harsh to the parent. That is the parent they failed in that one.
Okay. But again, you see, earlier on the question that I asked, that suppose they never had those conversations from, you know, childhood, right? So they grew up figuring it out until maybe they did. Some probably never figure out because it comes and it goes, right? So then, at what point do we introduce these conversations, and how do we approach it? Because again, like Meshach said, liambiwa pesa does not grow on trees. So you see, the parent figures, nimekuambia pesa does not grow on trees, so wewe manage. Whatever we have, you manage. And that was it. End of financial lessons. All right? Baby girl, whatever baby girl wants, baby girl gets. Right? They might not have that conversation, like a sit down and have those conversations, but from watching and learning and, you know, how the parents are handling money, we get to learn a thing or two. Maybe to the negative or some to the positive. So when do we introduce such conversations? What do we say?
Okay, I can say that we need to introduce that learning as early as possible. When the child, even when the child starts, even I can say as early as possible, when maybe they are in class 1, and at least they have an idea of what money is.
All right.
So we need to start as early as that. And okay, at that tender age, sometimes it's not very, you cannot sit them down and start explaining to them, but that one they can learn it practically.
All right.
So that when we go to the supermarket, you need to teach that child that the supermarket does not belong to you. Everything that is in that supermarket is not yours.
The supermarket does not belong to you. I like that. Okay, all right.
I'd say maybe a point to include on that. You mentioned that, okay, their parents didn't teach them about money. And hence we can't really blame them for not being taught. But I believe with parenting is that you want the next generation to be better than you had it.
That's true.
So, for example, I know my mom used to walk to school barefoot for a kilometer plus. When I was growing up, that was not the case. I knew I had shoes. But now, when you're talking about those lessons that are inculcated when you're young, when you wake up in the morning, make your bed, brush your teeth, make sure your shoes are tied, keep your uniform clean. So to date,
Okay.
I still make my bed, I still brush my teeth in the morning. I'm
Okay.
sure the same for all of us here.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, I think that should be the same reasoning and concept to also apply financial literacy.
That it doesn't matter whether you are taught or not, they can still learn from you because you decide to make a change. Hold on to that thought. Let's take a break. But when we come back, we'd want to understand. So fine, try, right? But then again, how did that shape both of you? Because you had different experiences as far as introduction to money and handling money. How did that shape you? And what do you want to take to the next generation as far as finances are concerned, and the lessons as well? But all that is coming up after the break. Remember the question that we're asking you, and that is, what do you wish your parents taught you as far as money is concerned, or finances? I'll be reading more of your feedback after the break. Stay with us.
Benefits of ordering with Glovo. Glovo allows you to order anything you want at the comfort and convenience of your home. Craving fried chicken or pilau or pizza? Easy and simple. Order on Glovo today. Glovo, order anything, we deliver in minutes. With Glovo you order anything unataka, and when you get it una celebrate because kukuchoma imefika, na wakati keki inafika ndio sherehe inaanza. Order Glovo, will deliver in minutes.
Show off your best skin with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion. Now with 5-in-1 complete care. The deeply nourishing formula prevents your skin from drying with precious cocoa butter and deep moisture for smooth and healthy looking skin. Step out in confidence with our most complete care from the world's #1 skincare brand.
Candice, what's that?
I brought you a small bonus.
Bonus for what?
You got us 299 family dinners, 64 kisses on the cheek, 12 road trips to see grandma, 42 jokes from daddy, 49 laughs from mommy.
In over 60 years of dealing with numbers, we've learned that the numbers that matter the most to you are the ones that matter the most to us. NCBA Bank. Go for it.
The Africa Youth Climate Assembly, which is the official youth engagement mechanism for the Africa Climate Summit, presents to you national consultations happening across Kenya in Isiolo Bomen Hotel, Kisumu Grand Swiss Hotel, Diani Jacaranda Hotel, and Nairobi at Strathmore, that will be streamed live on NTV. These consultations will build on the Africa Youth Climate Declaration set to be presented at the Africa Climate Summit, gathering youth voices, their innovations, and showcasing Africa's youth solutions to global challenges.
All right, welcome back. Glad you're still with us. I'm still trying to sample more of your comments as far as the question that we're asking you, and that is, what do you wish your parents taught you about money? Because we're talking about financial wellness, financial health and literacy today on the show. And these are some of the lessons that I wish I learned from my parents. And we have two young people in their 20s with us in the studio, and that is Charity Mumbi, who's a teacher at Lenana School, as well as Meshach Kaburi, who's a programs executive, Montgomery East Africa group, who are sharing their experiences as far as introduction to money and how it shaped their, perspective and even their relationship as far as money is concerned. But to also give us an expertise perspective is James Ngane, who's a finance manager, Next Step Foundation. So the question again, and that is, what do you wish your parents taught you about money? Someone else here says, this is Fernandez Simiu, who says to prioritize money than education. Okay. All right. And then someone else says that money and school are not in any way correlated. Okay, well, all right. Do you think it's the way, we're talking about this during the break, and we said, growing up, majority of the homes, money was demonized, right? Money is evil. If you have so much money, uliba, you are involved in some illegal businesses, that's why you have so much money. Yeah. And now people have grown up and realized, you know what, actually, money is not as bad as we were taught, or the picture that we had growing up. So again, like you said, start as soon as possible and explain to the kids in a language that they would understand. So Charity, very quickly, by watching your mom and how she would handle money, and now you are an adult, right? So how did, first of all, that interaction or that introduction towards finances, and how she would manage her finances, how did that shape you? So what was your idea about money, first of all? And then when you started getting your own money, did that change? I realized
money is like a butterfly. From how I observed my mom growing up, I don't think I was very keen on money, because if something were to be bought, it was there, or they would make ends meet to get the thing. Okay. But then my mom was an impulse spender. Okay. And I think I don't know whether it is an inborn trait or it is something we learn. Yeah. So I think I have grown to, I've observed myself growing up, and when I started earning money, that I would, if I was walking around town and I saw a nice shoe and I didn't have the budget for a new shoe, I'll just say, let me buy the shoe and then I will skip lunch tomorrow, and or
something had to give.
Money will always come back, you know. So I think, and then you get to know that some things, it's a thin line to differentiate between needs and want, because do I really need the shoe? But of course, with years, I get to know that some things are not.
It's totally different. So, just curious, how then do you handle your money now? Because initially, and I want to believe, and especially the first time you got your own money,
Let's say I've come a long way.
Right.
I have.
So at that time where you earn your first, check, and you have all the liberty to make all the financial decisions and whatnot, right? Has that changed over time? Now, would you say, how would you say your relationship with money is?
It has changed. I would say I am more responsible now that I have actively or have been intentional in understanding how being literate in terms of finances is important, especially in current times. And I think when I got my first salary, I remember I was very flabbergasted. I was like, all this money, and it's mine. And of course, when I was in campus, my parents used to pay the bills, and now when I got my job, they said, now you're a grown-up, we need to take care of other projects, so
you need to step up. Yes,
and remember, it's Nairobi. Nairobi has a lot of opportunities if you have money. But then you get to learn from your mistakes, such that if there's this common saying that mwezi iko kona. If the month gets to the corner at the time when your salary is not even near, you will learn the hard way.
Yeah.
So I think at times it's an issue of observing what others are going through and what has happened to you.
And deciding better
And now
for
deciding
yourself.
that next month I'll be wiser. I will not
Okay.
buy the shoe. I'll wait until maybe when salary is about to come, and then I
Yeah.
can buy the shoe.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
gradually.
So I'm just curious to understand whether you have like a budget or not, but I'll come back to you. So Meshach, yours was more structured in the sense that, so we are going to the supermarket because we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Full stop. Okay. No several trips to the supermarket just because we're bored. There was, right?
Yeah.
So how did that influence, first of all, your perspective about money? Did you hate it, the fact that unaambiwa pesa haimei kwa mti, you know, your parents have money, but kwa nini wanasema hawana pesa, you know, and all those things? Did that sort of like influence your perspective or the idea about money before we even get to the point where you started getting your own money and how that changed?
I think it's been under constant change since, because now it's transitional. So from the moment where, you know, you don't, money doesn't grow on trees, you're not about to get everything, you get into I'd say a rebellious phase. So now, from the moment now your parent starts giving you pocket money, you're like, the sweet that she refused me to buy, that is what I'm going to get. So you grow up now doing the opposite of what they do. So you have a money comes and money goes kind of mentality. I remember I used to have that one from primary to high school.
Okay.
So I'm like, let me just use this, and then itaisha, mzazi atarudisha. Then also, even as an adult, sometimes it happens because they say when you get money, you forget you have food at home.
Yeah.
So you'll always be eating out. So I'd say the relationship with money has transitioned from the fact that I used to be rebellious. So like, I'll use all my money because I know, mama tarudisha, my dad, the parents are there. So there's a constant supply of it. There was no lack, and that's the biggest problem. So I learned the hard way.
Okay, what happened? I'm nosy.
So I'd say I had an entrepreneurial mindset quite early.
All right.
I remember our school used to allow snacks. So what I used to do, I used to, when my parents were buying snacks, I used to hoard some. Because I know the way she said, mwezi itapiga kona, even school term itapiga kona.
But let me tell you, because in school, right?
Very. So you deny yourself knowing that there are some guys, when we're close to closing school or a month before, the demand for the snacks will be there. So you can even sell them at double the price and all that. So I used to sell snacks for a profit in high school. I also went up with that mentality in campus. I used to sell, you know, phone accessories and things like those. So you might think I was making money then, but the problem is now the separation of funds as well. So how do I separate my business money and how do I separate my personal money? So you'd find you've eaten so much into the profit, umekula hadi capital. So when somebody asks you for, hey, I need you by the way to supply with me some phone covers, some cases, you know,
you don't have.
I don't have.
Capital.
So I'm like, pay me fast before so that I can get you the product. So it was a tough journey. I remember even now I transitioned, started my internship. I remember I was offered an internship. There was an unpaid one and a paid one. Of course, you're going for the money. But now, you're carrying lunch you're buying lunch every day at the office. You're wondering, kwa nini watu wanabeba dish na food? You guys are being paid. Why are you not carrying? Why are you carrying food from home? So then I was internship. Then I got into work. Then now you get a salary without tax and all that. So I read somewhere that they call it gross salary because it's disgusting to see how much you would have made before deductions.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yes.
So you're looking at your paycheck. You're like, oh, this money I haven't touched it, but it's already gone. How am I supposed to live? So it was a struggle. I remember I got my job when I was still living in the campus accommodation. My parents used to pay for that. So, and then I told them, let me just move back home so that I can save this money. So I used to be in JKUAT. So Juja, now I know like a quarter of our classmates who are from outside Nairobi decided to stay without even having jobs, but you never understood why they chose that, because I think for them even like getting it the hard way was better. So I remember a friend of mine now 6 months after I moved back home, she told me, okay, you wanted to save the money that you are
You were supposed to pay rent.
So how
yes.
much have you saved right now?
How much did you save?
I didn't have an answer. There was nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Yeah.
So now, as you go now, the fact that you experience now the lack, you realize that one, the money is yours, and your parents are no longer there to supplement your budget.
Yes.
So if I decide to buy a shoe today, I know that shoe. I'll walk to town. I'll walk to work.
Yes.
Because I used fair money for that shoe.
For the shoe. So you had to learn how to make better choices when it comes to your finances.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself, because again, growing up, those strict budgets and all those things, yeah. So do you find yourself now sticking to that budget? Come on, we decide this month I'll have like 5,000 shillings to spend maybe on myself, on the things that I need, because there's the wants, there's the needs. James will tell us through all of that thing, yeah? So do you find yourself sticking to that? Or have you found a way to at least make your budget flexible, if you have a budget, that is, very quickly before we get to James?
All right, I'd say yes, I do have a budget. Took a while to get there, but I do. I think the 50-30 rule, 50-30-20 rule is what I live by and go by. So yes, I do have a budget. And do I stick to it? I try as much as possible. I won't lie.
Okay.
I think us now, especially our generation, we have so much temptations compared to what our parents had. Because now you
because you were younger, you didn't know their level of temptation then.
No, I'm thinking when they're growing up, because now your parents are from Shags, and they know that I have to use my money properly because I need to pay the rent. I don't want to go back to Shags. I need to, think about the future, etc. Me, I'm here, I'm knowing my parent is always a backup plan. So if I get my paycheck, entertainment money is 3/4 of the budget, and now the other money is transport
and rent and
so we have, in terms of even social media plays a role, because you'll see people leading some kind of lifestyle, going to certain places,
holidays every single month, and
I'm bookmarking this place, this is where I'm going to spend money. So even the fact that even loans have been introduced, so we think that even a loan is a source of income, because it's easily accessible as well, compared to how our parents had it back then, because now, one, they had to get a referee to get a bank account.
It was a whole lot of a process for you.
So compared, it's a very different landscape, and I'd say it's really crucial now to introduce those lessons, especially now with the generations that are coming up, because they'll have even more exposure to this, I'd say, money suckers, things that take money away from you.
Completely hear you. Okay, and then I'll come back to you both there to tell us, fine. So growing up and, perspective and through observing how your parents handled money and what you know now, what is it that you'd want to teach your children one day, if you'd want to have children, or maybe if you do, what is it that you'd want to teach them as far as money is concerned? But very quickly, James, you said money, there are several characteristics as far as money is concerned. And again, our very own Dudley, which again, like we said, forming the basis of our conversation today on DN2, and this is as far as parenting, the parenting edition is concerned, and says, what should your child know about money? So several things that, they have highlighted. Over here, so let me try and see if I can read just a few, and then I'll come back to you, James. So number one, he says discerning between the needs and wants, which again we'll talk about. I need this, is also I want this. And number two is to nurturing entrepreneurial spirit. Meshach tried that, Akakula Capital at some point, which is okay. Not okay, but okay. Number three, formulating savings goals. Again, one of the things that we struggle the most as a country. At some point, there was a statistic done and says Kenya has a very poor savings culture. And then number four is exercising delayed gratification. Because aside, this current day and age where we have all these sources, money lending apps on our phones. And then number five, introduction to borrowing. There's that concept, and says as children mature, it becomes imperative to introduce them to concepts of borrowing and debt. And continues to say that elaborate on the fact that borrowing entails acquiring a loan that necessitates repayment and often accompanied by interest. So it's important for them to understand that whole process. And then continues to say, number six, introducing retirement savings. Very important. And then number seven, clarify investment alternatives, because a lot of people would say savings versus investing. And then number eight, upholding cybersecurity, which is important, especially in this current day and age where we're in the digital space. And then number 9, leading through example, and this is as a parent. So James, a lot of things, but again, to get more comprehensive, you know, all the details as far as, you know, what Dudley again elaborates when it comes to managing your finances and understanding how important it is for you to just, you know, to be financially literate. So again, get your copy or just go to nation.epaper and you will get the DN2 parenting and you'll get the full story, you know, over there. But James, you talked about several aspects as far as characteristics. You say start these conversations as early as possible. Dudley highlights here, lead by example. As a parent, what do you say?
Yes, yeah, as I have said that when I was starting, that financial literacy is a skill.
Yeah.
So, and for it, a skill, it's need that you need to learn it from someone or somewhere.
Yeah.
And then, you see, you say that when we are parenting, that is a responsibility. And when you have a responsibility, you don't have to blame maybe your parent. Like me, if I'm a parent, I can't blame whatever my parents never did to me.
They never taught me.
Yeah,
they never showed me the way.
So you should not put that blame to their parent.
Yeah.
So now you have to take responsibility. Now this is me, I'm a parent, and I want to prepare my children for future.
All right.
So that is your responsibility. So now that's why we need to, I was saying that we need to teach them as early as that time.
Okay.
So we cannot learn away from our responsibility.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's important for all of us to be aware of that and or even learn better.
Yeah. True.
Given how your parents handled or knew about money, make that decision to do better so that your children do not have to suffer. Meshach said the mom, alienda shule bila viatu for a while. Most parents will tell us that.
Yeah,
is it like almost all our parents told us that ndio tujue how important money is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't understand why. Okay, some of our parents or us, the way we are bringing our children, it's not the way we were brought up.
True.
Maybe when some of us were growing up, me, I'm a bit older than them, so I'm not in their generation. So me, at least I have a taste of it. So I would see how my parents were struggling because I grew up in the village. So and then we will help our parents in some of doing some of those duties, going to the shambas. So at least we will help them to be able to generate some income. So it's also even as when even in an urban setup, sometimes it is good when the children have crossed school, you can some of this day decide you go with them to where you work, and then they are able to see how you struggle for you to get that money.
Okay.
So maybe that one you don't know, you are putting a good lesson to that child. That even if I see when I go to the supermarket, I want to buy this, my parent have to struggle for me to be able to get this. And now that message, they are going to grow up with them. Just like the way Meshach, their story, you see for him, he never struggled so much to transist. Because at least he was prepared a bit earlier. So that one tells us a lot. So we have to teach them. It's a bit painful, but in long term, it has its own benefits.
That the fact that money is available does not mean that we get to spend it the way we want.
Exactly.
I've seen some parents opening like a savings account for their children. We have the piggy banks as well. But there's always that conversation around saving versus spending. So do you teach your kids to invest the little that you know you give them like 10 shillings or 15 shillings, right? The first thing a child will think about is run to the shop and get that candy, right? But this other child who be taught nakupatia hii 10 shillings, you think about what you want to do with it. Another child will actually see a way to multiply that 10 shillings so that they get a bigger toy, for example. So yes, handling these two separate conversations very quickly, what would you say?
Yes, I agree. Okay, you know, I was saying the financial, you can do it even on the basic level. If a parent is able, you can open they call it a junior account for your children, whereby you'll be putting some money there. So and then you tell them, putting this money here, and maybe after the end of the year, I'm going to give it to you. Maybe you buy that thing that you want.
You wanted, okay.
And then you can also even do it even in a simple, even in our homes. You can get a tin, uweke shimo pale, and then where they can be dropping. No, as basic as that. We can do it as, you know, we are in the CBC world. So even I know, even in the CBC, I think they also need to introduce this. I don't know whether they have, but they need to teach the children how to do that.
Yeah.
Because again,
charity is in a good place to tell us.
Yeah. Yeah, because as you have said,
Yeah.
then a saving is a culture.
Yeah.
So it's something that you learn over
You
time.
learn and, yeah,
so you
over
don't
time
wake up
implement.
today and you
Yeah.
start doing saving. So
Okay.
you need to start small.
Yeah.
And even when you become an adult, to not be a challenge.
Okay.
Maybe
All
to
right,
add
because it's something that you have grown.
to-
All right, can I hear from Charity and then I'll come back to you, Meshach, very quickly. As far as the lessons that you learned or you wish you were taught, and now that you know better, what are some of the lessons that you will, you know, teach the generations after you?
Yeah. I would say what I've learned is the importance of saving, such that if I'm craving for a new shoe, I will have a goal to get a new shoe.
Okay.
I won't have to borrow from the money that is needed for another project.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think the concept of understanding that you can have multiple sources of income to supplement maybe your wants or luxuries, if you so believe.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, as much as we are talking about money, I think, as I have said, I'm a firm believer in abundance.
Yeah.
That if you spend money, money will come back. It's true.
Okay.
Because
All
money
right.
will work for you.
Yeah.
But if
spending in what way? Because me, if I spend like 50,000 shillings on shoes, how will that money come back to me?
Now that is where you need to draw the line
and understand the difference.
To understand that spending wisely, to understand or to have the impetus to think, is this a need or is it a want?
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
at the same time, I introduce. So now James has mentioned CBC. I really hope and believe that the education system now is gearing towards it's learner or
like more practical.
It's more practical.
Yeah.
So if the education sector is able to integrate values and like financial literacy in like maybe mathematics or any course, it would be very important for generations to come, because we are at a good place right now. And as I had a very good saying today in the morning, just before we came for the discussion here, that samaki mkunje angali mbichi. If you start early, it is going to be a domino effect into even generations to come.
All right. So do you want to teach your girl one day, baby girl gets what baby girl needs?
If you want a good lifestyle, you have to work for it.
I like that. Okay, all right. And live in abundance because you have worked for it. So there's the people that why do you work so hard?
You know, when I was growing up, just shortly, I used to hear parents, when I used to go up country, I used to hear my grandma say, today I've done a lot of work, let me say thank you to myself.
Yes.
And I think I picked that such that if I'm having a rough day, at the end of the day, I will tell myself, let me just buy cake.
Right. Kuambia mwili pole.
Kuambia mwili pole,
yeah. All right, Meshach, again, very quickly, based on what you know now, as far as finances are concerned, what is it that maybe you wish you were taught? And what is it that you would teach the generations after you as far as finances are concerned? Very quickly, because I can see your time is from
All right. Just to comment on what James said, even when you're talking about the piggy banks and the team, also the discipline behind it, because I remember I used to have that, but I cracked it open a few times. So, regardless.
Just to be curious to see how much nimeweka.
Okay. In a bucky empty, then you start all over again. So the understanding of the importance of saving as well. Then two, I'd say is, yes, I would teach my kids about financial management. So we have, I remember we used to have PPI in school, where every Tuesday somebody from church comes in, talks to you about. So we need to introduce, I'd say, the similar concepts as well when you're talking about finances. So from the moment a child first interacts with money, show them the value behind it, make them understand why they need to put some money aside and tell them that they'll get to a point where that money is not all theirs.
That's true.
They need to pay the piper at some point. And I'd say I'd appreciate our church as well, because we've come up with programs where we now talk to the youth and even the kids in school, that's PCA Nairobi West, where we talk to them about, okay, you're in campus right now, this is how you can handle your finances, you're in high school right now, this is how you deal with your pocket money. And we had an example of a guy who came to talk to us and told us he opened a bank account for the daughter. And akaeka pesa yote into that account, akamwambia, this is your school fees, this is your pocket money, and this is your rent. Talk to me after 3 months regarding money.
Okay,
So at-
that is like some tough financial discipline
Yes.
over there.
Yes.
But okay,
So if it's about money, talk to me after 3 months. So
Okay.
such lessons,
Yeah.
you know, now when you're in campus, you get to understand, by the way, I can't call home
That's
again.
true. Yeah, and
So
just ask for
such
money.
lessons are the ones I feel like should be inculcated.
Uh-huh.
I admire the Japanese school system because they teach kids early, not in terms of finances, but you'll find they have a program where each class of
Yeah.
pre-primary is supposed to cook for the rest of the school.
Yeah.
And when they grow up, they know that they should be able to, you know, perform the same duties and serve.
Yeah.
So if you're able to inculcate such teachings,
schools as
such
well.
skills
That would
early,
be really
then
nice.
we'll have
Yeah.
a totally different Kenya as well.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. All right. So James, 30 seconds to sum up this conversation as far as parents teaching their children about finances, again, in the hope that we'll have a better generation that is more financially literate.
Yes, yeah, we need to teach them as early as it can be.
Okay.
About the saving, about investing, and then about budgeting,
Okay.
and even how they can be able to generate their own income, so that we can be able to prepare them for the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm trying to zoom this. Okay, just decided to go to the next page. But I mean, the conversation was all about finances today and why it's important for parents to, again, teach their young ones as far as money is concerned. The question that we asked you very quickly before we end the show is, what are some of the lessons that you wish your parents taught you about money? Lando on Twitter says, it's everywhere. You just have to go and find it. Okay. Isaac Mbugwa says, save the moment you get your income. And last but not least, and this is Oscar who says, the secret to wealth is about the money that is left after paying bills. And then Karobo says, still on Twitter, early education about the concept of saving and investing would have been incredibly valuable. Learning about the power of compounding, different types of investment vehicles, and the benefits of starting to invest early would have set me on a better financial path. But let's keep the conversation going online, and that is at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter. But for now, allow me to say a huge thank you to my panel this morning, James Ngane, who's a finance manager, Next Step Foundation, Charity Mumbi, teacher at Lenana School. I hope you also teach kids about saving and investing. And then Nivesha Kabur, who's a programs executive from Montgomery East Africa Group. Asanteni sana for coming by today and also sharing your journeys and experiences as far as finances are concerned. My name is Winnie Lubembe, and also special thanks to our very own Dudley Mushiri, who again wrote this article. And this is as far as lessons that parents should teach their children as far as finances are concerned. Go to nation.epaper and get yourself a full story as far as finances are concerned. So have yourselves a lovely day ahead. See you tomorrow morning, same time, same place, right here on Your World. Stay safe. Goodbye.